Welcome, 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 everybody, all of my day ones. This is the Day One Podcast, and I am Giselle Quintanilla, and I am the CEO of Ready Writer Services, LLC. I am your favorite writing coach. I love helping people with their books and business. And here at the Day One Podcast, if it's your first time, maybe you have not tuned in before, maybe you haven't seen the other episodes, but the Day One Podcast is really a platform for women to encourage and empower women to step into their day one, to step into the day one and the purpose that God has for their lives, and to make every day one, to show up every day like it's your day one. Because every day that we are on this side of heaven, we have purpose, right? We have, as long as we have breath in our lungs, we have purpose to fulfill. And I stand on that because Lord knows, right? This year, whew, and it is the middle of April already. And I can't believe how time is really flying. And so we got to leverage the time. Time is flying. I love this time of year. I'm going to tell you why. I am not a fan of winter. Winter is not my friend. We don't get along. We don't like each other. I'm a summer baby. And so I'm a for real summer baby because my birthday is June 22nd. So it's like the second day of summer. Boom, I came to the earth. And so I love summer. And so when the flowers start sprouting, right? And, and the birds are chirping and we got longer daylight, that's my jam. And so, hopefully the rain isn't affecting anybody too badly. But listen, at the end of the day, we have flowers and sunshine to look forward to. So it's the Day One Podcast, y'all. I am so excited about who I have today with me pouring into y'all. And when I tell you, I have been watching past episodes of the Day One Podcast. This is episode 8, y'all. And this is obviously new to me, right? But I'm so grateful for how God is gracing and lining the women up who are supposed to be here, who are supposed to pour into you and into me, because I always get something out of these amazing women that I get to have in my life, right? That is a privilege and it is an honor. And so listen, I'm super excited about my next guest. She is such a beautiful soul. She's super sweet. And I will never forget the first day we met. So we actually met at, you know what? I'm not even gonna wait. Let me first do her bio. I'm getting ahead of myself, y'all, because I'm getting excited because I remember how we met. So, okay, let me go back. I am going to read her bio I'm gonna give you all her bio real quick, but I'm gonna bring her on and then I'm gonna share how we met because I love so much how I encountered this beautiful soul. But Tina Kadish is the founder of From Job to Joy. And y'all know that is my jam. I love that. From Job to Joy. She's a dynamic business coach. She's a best-selling author. She's a speaker. And she's dedicated to empowering any new and aspiring female entrepreneurs, which is perfect for this platform, y'all, because we are all about empowering new and aspiring entrepreneurs. We want to encourage you here. So I love that she's on here. She's got 20 plus years of experience in the corporate arena, in talent acquisition, in training. I mean, she's done amazing things. And she's an author. As I mentioned, she's the author of Freedom, right? And that's Freedom. I love acronyms. But listen, I can't wait because I've heard her speak on multiple occasions. So I cannot wait to share her with you all, viewers. And if you're listening on Spotify, because we are on there too, I can't wait for y'all to really just hear from her. And then you'll see why I love her so much. So I'm gonna bring her on so I can talk about how we met.
Hello, Giselle. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh my gosh, my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for gracing the Day One Podcast. So we met actually at the Bomb Global event, right? A conference. And
Yes.
this was, I think I want to say it was last year, but it was the Building a Leadership Mindset with Nikki Cuesta. And that is another networking group. And I want to say this really quick before I talk about Tina. It is so important. I can't stress this enough, right? A lot of times we will stick to our own circles, right? Like we have our circles, we have our networking group that we do. And I am very much a fan of spreading out, right? And going into other groups and learning from other people and expanding your circle into other places, because you just don't know what you're going to get. And I really believe that God works that way, in that he puts you in places to meet people, right? Divine connections that you never would have thought of. And I love that so much about us, Tina, because I sat at your table at the Bomb Global Warrior Women's Conference. And, just hearing your story and, listening to you, I just so enjoyed your presence. So thank you. Thank you for coming on here.
Thank you so much. Yes, it was awesome. That event was great. And I agree with you that we need to be in other rooms, other communities with other powerful women, learning from them, connecting, collaborating. Had I not met you, I wouldn't be here today, getting to know you over the year. And, I'm going to be going back to their conference this year again. I don't know if you are, but in August. So I'll be going there again. So look forward to seeing you. And I know that we're not that far away from each other as well, physically. But yeah, it's great to be here.
Oh, it's so amazing to have you. So listen, I am not going to delay any further because I can talk. I'm going to get off though, and I'm going to let you have the stage with the viewers and just do what you do. So Tina, thank you so much, and I will be back.
Okay, thank you. So I am Tina Kadish from Job to Joy, as Giselle mentioned. I'm a business coach, I'm an author and a speaker. And I love being on stages like this. And day one, I love the concept here. And so my day one began when I got laid off from the corporate world, began my journey of the uncertainty. I had been promoted 3 months before being laid off. I had never been laid off. I'd always quit jobs because of always looking for better opportunities. So I truly found myself that was day one of me embarking on a self-discovery journey. And so in my journey, I learned that over 85% of women are unhappy, unfulfilled in their careers. So when I got laid off, I said, I don't want this to happen to me again. I want to be in control. I want to be the one that decides my destiny. I don't want a company to tell me what to do, who to do it with, and to, take my job away, before the holidays. And I was a single mom with 2 kids at the time, and I was scared. I was betrayed. I was angry. And so I truly believe in networking, and I embarked on wanting to meet women, being in rooms, and I was a fan of the law of attraction, the movie The Secret, and I wanted to meet like-minded individuals around this concept, the law of attraction. And so what did I learn in this community? And this is why it's so important to step out of your comfort zone, do something different. I learned of a tool to help women find their passion, because I didn't know what my passion was. At the time, I did love training and development. I loved being on stages. I loved being in front of people teaching, but I didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. So I needed clarity. And that's the first thing we need, is clarity. What do we want to do? And so I realized through this tool that I now today coach my clients on is finding your passion, living life on purpose. And I wanted to teach other women that. And so today, among other things, as a business coach, I teach women to step into their passion through this tool. And so, however, there's a thing called head trash that creeps in. And what did I do? I went back to a job as a recruiter while building my business part-time. And here, I don't think it's a bad thing to do, because I wasn't ready to be an entrepreneur full-time. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have the skills. I had never been an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what that meant. Okay. And so, because I've always had a job. And so, for those of you listening here, you might have that feeling of, I want to do more. You might be asking yourself, what's the next chapter in my life? I know I want more. I know that I can do more. But I just am stuck right now in this career. You might be retired right now. You might be laid off. You might be saying, I've done this job for 20 years now and I'm done. I want to quit. And so that's where I come in, because I really empower those women that are in that transition and they want to start a business. And that's where I come in today. I help you create that business blueprint, because I recognized that women don't know how to start a business. And there aren't too many coaches out there for startups. There's a lot of coaches out there that help you to scale up. So I found a need. And because that was me, I didn't have support. I didn't know where to turn when I got laid off, when I realized that I want to be an entrepreneur, when I took that tool, the passion test, it's called. So I really believe that all of us really need to live life on purpose and live life with intention. And one of the things that I talk about is my 3-step formula. How do we find our passion? Well, the first thing is be intentional. Set intentions every day. What is it that you want to create? And then attention. What are you focusing on? Where are you putting your energy? There are days, I'll be honest with you, I'm down in the valley, but then there are days that I'm up there. But we have to really be mindful. Where are we putting our energy on? What are we focusing on? Because what you focus on expands. That's where your energy goes. And then the third step is no tension. And what do I mean by that? We need to be letting go, releasing that we cannot control the outcome. What we can control is our actions we take today, our attitude. What will I do today to move the needle closer to what I want? And that's where I come in. So that was my day one, was when I got laid off. And so what I recommend now, as I think about, because I mentioned earlier, I went to a job because of my fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of success, just fear, that whole uncertainty. And I got let go 2018. And that was the final day that I said, I'm done with corporate America. I am now going to build my business full time. And I evolved into business coaching right, a little bit before that I got let go. And I love it, because now I can help you step into creating that business structure, that framework. But I come from a holistic approach, because what I do, I help you to overcome those barriers, to prepare you so that you can start a business, because you can't just start a business without getting the head trash, overcoming those barriers. And this is where my book, Freedom, the 7 Steps of, to Thrive in Life and Business, comes in, because I can help you to overcome those barriers. So as I wrap up today, my day one for you today is, I want you to get clear. What is it that you want? Identify your why. What excites you? What is it that you want to attract more of? Who do you want to help? If you were in a business today, or is that what you want to do? Maybe you don't want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you want another career within a company, because entrepreneurship is not for everyone. But what I recommend that you do is find a company, find a role that is aligned with your passions. So whether you are in a business or you're working for a company, are your passions aligned with the company? Are your passions aligned with your business? And so the day one for you is get clear on your why. What are your, focusing also on your strengths and your values, and really create a vision for yourself. And for what do you want to create? What do you want to bring more of? I have a community of women, and I want to bring in over 50 women that are all in this space, that we're working together, creating that business, thriving, loving what we do every day, and speaking about this, because too many of us are not happy with what we're doing. We might even be in a business that we don't love what we're doing. And it's okay, but we want to get clear in what we want to do. So that clarity is definitely the first step. And so I am Tina Kadish. My oh my gosh, I can't talk today. My tip is really get clear on your why and bring that in to you. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Giselle, for having me here. I hope that this resonates with your audience for sure.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so, so much, Tina. I so appreciate it. And I appreciate your story so much because, you and I, when we were sitting at the conference, I could relate so much to how you felt about corporate America, right? So, for people who don't know, maybe you're seeing this for the first time, you've never heard me, but I was in banking. And I was, pretty high up. I had 35 people under me. I had 7 branches in retail banking. And I watched them move people around like they were chess pieces. With the intent of, I'm gonna be real on this day one podcast, with the intent of making them just want to leave. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be real. Like this is how corporate works, right? It's, if you're either happy with the person and they're amazing. And so now you take advantage of that because they're amazing, right? Or you're concerned with the bottom line. And so you need to cut people, right? And so you lay them off, or they are not performing, but you can't fire them legally. Right. And so what do? You place them somewhere where they are going to be miserable.
Exactly.
you push them out. I mean, I'm just real talk. This is real talk.
It is real talk. It is real talk. And I saw so many things that in corporate America that today, I love the freedom, of being an entrepreneur. And is it easy? No, it's not easy. And it's not for everybody. It really isn't, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. And there is, absolutely, I agree. And there is a space. So let me say this, every company is not the same. No. And there is a space for people who love corporate and they belong in corporate. And I love that for them, right? Yes. They can absolutely, they navigate well, it's healthy, right? Because there are healthy corporate spaces, but I've also seen, again, the dark side of corporate. And so, that's where I relate to you, Tina, in that I was tired and I was done and I wanted to be with my family, with my kids.
Exactly. And so, exactly. Yeah. And that's why I said in my talk about finding a company that's aligned with your passions, the value that you have. Don't just take a job just because of desperation. And I know that at times we need to do what we got to do. We got to make money, right? We got to get the money. We got to pay our bills. And we might take a step back and do whatever we got to do. But don't be there. Keep always having a vision. What do you want to do? Have that goal to get yourself out and find something.
Yeah, I agree. And ultimately, of course, I'm always going to say, and seek God on it, because some spaces are assignments from him. And so, you want to make sure that if it is, even if you are, and I say this all the time, like if you are, it's challenging and you're having a difficult time, it might not be that you're not assigned. It might be that it is an assignment. And now you need to go to God and say, okay, God, what am I learning here? Why am I here? Right. And so clarity is so important. I love that you talked about clarity, because it's important in every space to have clarity. Exactly. You talked about, I love this so much. You talked about how you sought out to do something different. And, in the beginning of the year, one of my podcast episodes, I talked about how, I started the year doing different things that I out of my comfort zone, things that I wasn't used to. Right. So I went to a few events already this year where I knew nobody. I don't know anybody. And I met new people and I engaged with new people and, did new things. And one of the events was a karaoke event. So I was up there singing. So I love karaoke, but you have to be able to do that, like to put yourself out there in faith.
Yes.
Faith. And you did that. You did that, Tina. And so, so just thinking about the doing something different, like what is the biggest challenge? What was the biggest challenge for you even in stepping out and doing something completely different?
It was really that turning point when I got laid off. I said, I don't ever want to be told by a company what to do. And so although I went back to a job and because security, and even though there's false security in corporate America, but I was there 11 years. I did a great job, but I was able to build my business. That was my funding source while I built my business. And it's okay to have a funding source while you're building your business. There's
Yeah.
no shame in it, no shame whatsoever. But I was done, and thank God it ended in 2018. And I'm now an entrepreneur, and I love it. So
Yeah.
really, so this is really love being here and meeting new women, getting on podcasts, having that freedom to do what you love to do and connect.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
sharing stories.
And sharing your stories. And you know what's so funny is I can even relate to that, because when I stepped out for the first time, and if you know me, you know all the crazy business ventures that failed before this one. and so I've been, I had so many, but I was afraid. I had that fear, right, of insecurity, instability. I don't have a stable paycheck. And I went back to the world of work, the W-2 world. That's what I call it, the W-2 world. I went back to the W-2 world. And it was challenging in that, even though God graced me for that small period of time, I was working at a daycare, actually. He graced me for the small period of time, but it wasn't where I was supposed to be. And I can feel it, you know what I mean? And God took me out. Like, he took me out of it. He was like, no, this is not it. And so, so I even relate to that. And I think that sometimes there's this fear of, stepping into the unknown, right? But we talked about doing something different. And it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship, because doing something different can literally be just, going out and meeting new people to build community, outside of work and outside of your family, right? Doing something different can be as simple, Tina, as taking yourself out to lunch and eating by yourself. Some people, yes. Yeah, I love taking myself out.
I've done that, and I love it. We have to celebrate ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves first, because if we don't take care of ourselves, how can we take care of others? How can we be good to other people? But we have to. We are number one.
Yeah. So you got to be able to do something different and, step out of that comfort zone, out of that thing that you just know, and don't go back. Right. I think about Tina, just kind of when Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, right? And from God's directive, and they're in the desert, and they're like, oh, we should have gone back. We should have stayed in Egypt. Like, you were a whole slave. You want to stay in Egypt?
Right. I know. Don't look back. Don't go back. Learn from your experiences. It's the lessons learned. What have you learned from this experience?
And so
go forward.
Yeah, agreed. So I really appreciate that your day one move. So the day one move for everybody, the day one move is get clarity. Clarity, because when you have clarity on, what you want, right? Get clarity on what you want.
Yes.
And you understand why you want the thing, right? Yes. And so when you get clarity on that, then you get clarity on your path. Right. And you focus on that, so that when hard times come, not when, not if, when they come,
because they come. Definitely hard times come. Yes, yes.
And so when that happens, you're not going, I should have stayed at that corporate, or I should have stayed over here, or I should have stayed in that relationship. Listen, I'm gonna make it personal, right? I'm gonna personalize it for the viewers. I should have stayed in this relationship, or I should have stayed at this job, or I should have stayed with whatever it is that you were doing.
Yes.
Right. But you
Yes.
have to think about, just because you don't know the outcome doesn't mean that the outcome isn't going to be amazing.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. That is so definitely. I love it. I love how we've connected, and I love how you shared your story in your banking career. Beautiful. And
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yes.
thank you, Giselle.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for being an amazing guest on the Day One podcast. Thank you for sharing your story of just why you now are travailing, right? And you're paving the way for other new and aspiring entrepreneurs who, their passion is to do what they love without somebody telling them what to do, right? And that's, again, and please I just want the viewers to understand. I don't have anything against somebody having a job. I love the fact that you said, that you went back to your job and your job funded your dream, because I say that all the time. I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs, or who want to, like, right, they want to do something, but they're in this job right now, and that is not a bad thing. Please, that is not a bad thing, because I always say that is a means to an end.
That's right.
That is a vehicle that you need to get you where you want to go.
Exactly. Exactly. I so agree with that. And having multiple streams of income is so important. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, there is no shame in
Absolutely.
having a job while building your business.
Yeah. So if you're on here, if you're listening and you are like, I'm in this job, don't despise it. Don't despise it. Use it for what it is, for its intended purpose, and why God has you there, and be a good steward of that season. And so that way, right, you can, when it's time, when God says, all right, it's time, and you can move on to the dream, then you can do that, and you can continue to build as you're working. So listen, because here's what I do believe 100%. Whether you're a full-time entrepreneur or whether you're a full-time, W-2 employee, you work at a job. Here's what I always believe. Those two avenues are not your only avenues.
No.
Like, God is a multifaceted God. And he didn't just create us with one purpose in mind, right? Like, Tina can only be an entrepreneur, and this person can only work in corporate, and this person can only be a doctor. That is not how he works.
No.
Right? So
no, that is so true. There's multiple facets to us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just want to celebrate the viewers on here, no matter where you are in your season, right? I think the takeaway, the day one from Tina, the message that she's given us today is just to get clarity on what you want and why you're doing the thing, right? So whatever that looks like for you, but do something different and get out of that comfort zone so that you can experience the best and fulfillment in your life. So I love that so much, Tina. I so appreciate you. Thank you for gracing us and wrapping up this month of April. It was gold. I am going to share the day one statement so that we can, everybody, listen, get this day one statement. All right. Put it in your heart or write it down, do whatever you want to do with it. But I want to leave you with this day one statement. Tina, I thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for just being such an amazing and sweet friend to me. And I'm excited for the next time we get to see each other in person so I can give you a hug. But listen, here's your day one statement, y'all. Wrapping up the month of April. John Augustus Shedd said, "A ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what a ship was built for." I like that. All right, listen, y'all.
Thank you so much for that. I love it.
Love it. This is the Day One podcast, and we have a whole new episode on May 1st, and I can't wait for more sunshine and light. Thank y'all for viewing. As always, make every day your day one. All right, we'll see y'all later. you. What's up, day ones? I hope you enjoyed this last episode. Listen, make sure that you like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, make every day your day one.